Hello and welcome again, it's Roofamonger, and today we'll have another character walkthrough in For Honor, going over the Berserker. So we'll be going over the basics, what makes the class tick, and a couple of tricks of the class. So without any further ado, let's go into the basics. Alright, now for the basics, the main thing to know about this class is the infinite attack chain. So starting with any heavy or light, as long as you keep attacking with alternating heavy and light attacks, as you can see here, the chain just keeps going on and on and on forever. Now there's a couple properties of this. So first off, as you see here, starting on the 4th hit, you see that flash. So starting on hit 4 and up, all your attacks in this infinite chain are armored, so you cannot be hit out of it, which is not so much of a big deal in duels, but if you are hitting someone in, say, Dominion, that means their buddies can't knock you out of your attack chain. One more key thing to note about this is once you start the infinite chain, your light attacks, if they are blocked, your combo can still keep going. Now everyone else in the game, if their light attack is blocked, that's the end of the string, you reset the neutral. However, once the infinite chain starts, the Berserker's attacks can keep going, doesn't matter how often they block. So it is one thing to keep in mind, it's quite good. Although the longer you keep your continuous attack going, also keep in mind, it is easier to get parried. Now, on the final note on this chain is any hit after the first, if the heavy attack is a top heavy, you get a unique attack. Now this attack is the most damaging move in the game that isn't the Shugoki's heavy unblockable attack. It comes in at 55 damage, which is huge. So once more here, just look at the bot's health. And see here, that's just under half their health. It is a gigantic amount of damage. It's the highest damage the Berserker can get, and because of this, it kind of has a higher priority to defend against, so anyone you're fighting is going to be watching out for this. Let's see here, it's not quite the fastest move, but then, if they're watching out for it, it's one of the great things for feint bait. You can just go for it, feint, and then either go for another side, or a guard break, or what have you. Because the move is so good, everyone's going to be on the watch for it, but because they're on the watch for it, is what makes it so good to feint. Now, with that said, let's go on to some of the moves. Alright, so let's quickly go over the dash attacks now. Now, the side dashes are mostly the same as everyone else that has them, although keep in mind, as they are light attack, you can immediately start going into your infinite chain from them. And the Berserker actually has 2 forward dash attacks. Has a light and has a heavy. Now, as you saw by that flash, they are both armored. So once the move starts, you cannot hit them out of it. So the heavy does more damage and is a lot slower as a means of it. I recommend you do the light if possible, because the heavy is basically free parry bait. It's not going to hit people unless they're just not paying attention. Anyways, that's the dash attack, so let's just go on to the next section here. So a quick note about the zone attack. There's actually 2 versions. There's the basic. You can see here, 4 hits. You can also do away and zone, which will let you do an armored zone attack, which is not very useful in duels, but once again, for the 4v4 modes, it can really get you out of a pickle as it creates space, and it is armored, so it lets you breathe a little bit. Alright, so next up I want to mention the dodge has a special attribute for the Berserker, in that if you dodge right as an attack hits, you get a free guard break, as you can see here. Now, one thing to note, it seems to be slightly different than a regular guard break, in that, as you can see here, your side heavy attack can be blocked. So your only guaranteed attack off this guard break is a light attack. Now, on the point of guard breaks, I just want to mention real quick here, unlike every other class in the game, the guard break for the Berserker, on the throw, it actually does a little bit of damage. It's only a couple points, not much, but it actually can kill. As you see here, knocks him down, hits him a little bit. And it's just a neat little ditty. So it's a couple points of damage, but every bit of damage helps, and this is a good thing to use. Alright, now one of the most important, if not the most important feature of the Berserker is the fact that it can cancel any attack into a dodge. Now this is effectively a second layer of feints. So let's say we go for a top light attack, right? Let's say they expect it, and you normally can't feint a light, but we can go top light and immediately dash out. They will still see the hit indicator flash real quick, but then you will turn that into a dodge. So we can just as easily go say top light, dodge, and turn to a side attack. So this works just the same as heavy. So say heavy attack, then we go heavy attack into a dodge. Or it could be a forward dodge, so say heavy attack on the side, forward dodge into the leap attack that's light. So it's one thing to keep people on their toes. And keep in mind, it also works with back dashes, not just forward or side dashes. So it's a great tool set, and like I said, it's a second layer of feinting to keep the enemy really on their toes and make them wondering what you're doing. Alright, so in closing, the Berserker has fantastic offense, especially with the light chain, or the infinite attack chain rather, sorry. So the light attacks, once they're blocked in the infinite attack chain, your offense does not stop, so you can keep going. You basically force the opponent to guess right and parry, or they constantly have to wither on your onslaught. The dodge cancels with the lights or heavy attacks is a great second layer of feints that can really help surprise your opponent. Now the Berserker is in the lower health pool, so it's 120 health just like the Peacekeeper and the Orochi, and doesn't necessarily have some of the explosive damage of the Orochi or the kind of Wolverine style blender that the Peacekeeper can throw out, but it is a fun class to play, and hitting people with that top heavy is just so satisfying. Now, just in case you didn't watch my previous video about max damage off guard breaks, just keep in mind, generally, you're guaranteed to side heavy off a normal guard break, although, as we went over earlier, on the parry side dash guard break, you can only get a light. Anyways, I hope this guide was of help to you, and remember to go out and fight for honor.